There's an article from a couple of days ago about the supposed negotiation. I wonder whether you've seen it. I've just posted the link in the chat. It's got in quotes supposedly from two Trump administration officials, and I wonder whether it was true or not.
Wait, okay, we're in the testing phase. Trump admin on your own parameters because. All right, let me see this. So you shared this. Let me put this over here on this page.
Yeah.
Right. So we're in the testing phase. Trump admin eyeing Iran's parliament speaker as U.S. backed leader. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I mean, why not? Why not? Huh? Let that happen as well. So here's why this is funny, because I mean, guys, based on what you know about the IRGC, do you think the IRGC will accept a US backed leader to be in charge in Iran? A US backed leader? And US backed meaning what? Meaning that he's going to accept the removal of enriched uranium. Like, is he going to give the enriched uranium to leave Iran? Is he going to accept the IAEA observers to come to Iran to monitor that the Islamic Republic is not enriching uranium? Like, do you guys understand that like there's nothing from the IRGC that would ever be able to tolerate that? If that ever happens, we're witnessing the collapse of the Islamic Republic. If that ever happens, that is not a new leadership for the continuation of the Islamic Republic. That is the surrender phase that I'm talking about. That is the surrender phase between the revolution phase and the transition phase under the leadership of Princess Pahlavi. If that ever happens, that means that the IRGC has been weakened to a point where they have just this temporary manager of the collapse, not a leader of for the continuation of the Islamic Republic. We will have a temporary manager of the collapse of the Islamic Republic that is somehow trying to get some parts of the IRGC to come and bend the knee and accept that it's all over. So I mean, why if the Islamic Republic gets to a point where they have, by the way, this guy is part of has been always like Ghalibaf, the Speaker of Parliament. A lot of people keep talking about Ghalibaf as a Speaker of Parliament. His role as a Speaker of Parliament is irrelevant. Ghalibaf is much bigger deal because of his other powers that he have within the Islamic Republic. This is an IRGC man. He has a lot of connections to the IRGC. He has a lot more leverage for other reasons. His title as the Speaker of Parliament is much less important than his other roles within IRGC. And given how much he is within IRGC, shows that he cannot ever come out and be recognized as a US backed leader. This is why Ghalibaf, as soon as President Trump came out and said we're talking to somebody, he came out and put out tweets desperately saying like, nah, like he's lying. We're not talking to anybody. Why is he so desperate to come out and say no, we're not talking to anybody? Because he would be killed by his own people. If the people who killed the supreme leader Khamenei, do you think these people will get to be able to come and tell their own followers that, yeah, we're talking and negotiating? We're the murderers of Ali Khamenei? There's no room for that. These people are stuck. These people have created this monster of their own making as a way for their own legitimacy, which is their own base of support, and now they're stuck. This is a monster that continues needing to be fed this idea that we have the Americans, Israelis exactly where they want. You can't stop. They're living in a dream world and they cannot wake up. The day that they wake up is the day that it's the end of them. They have to be in that delusion or else the whole thing will collapse. And when they wake up, it's all over. It's all over. The thing will collapse to the point where the Iranian people will be able to finish the job. And again, remember, the surrender phase might be so long, and I don't know how long it's going to be. It might be very short. It might take only 48 hours, but it might take like, a couple of months. It might be so long where some people here and in the media will become convinced that, okay, this is the new Islamic Republic, but it's not. Everything is collapsing, and eventually the Iranian people will have the upper hand. And let this happen. Even if you want to go through a phase where we have somebody, it's hard to believe that it will be Ghalibaf, given how insistent he's insistent to show to the Iranian people that he's not going to be talking to the Americans. But at some point, they might find somebody who will be able to fill that role. But if we get there, it means that we are at a point where the IRGC is so weak that Israelis and Iranians will be able to finish the job.
I have to call time on you, Armin.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, we have an anonymous question. What happens to all of the cocaine production after Miguel Diaz-Canal?
Wait. Well, I don't know about that. Like, are we talking about the Islamic Republic's involvement in drug sales in to make money, like with Hezbollah and Latin America and in other places as one of their sources of revenue? Is that what we're talking about? Like, I'm not understanding the question here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So if that's what we're talking about, there's two things that has. I don't know if the drug is cocaine. I thought it was like mostly some other types of drug. I forgot what their name was, but I don't know which drugs they're using. But I know. Okay, so I know mostly about. I mean, Jeffrey would be able to respond to this more, but I know about two main drug operations that the Islamic Republic proxies were and their own forces were making money from. One is in Latin America, and one was with this network that they have between Hezbollah and Assad. And losing Syria was a major blow to those operations of their drug selling operations in the Middle East. They completely lost their land bridge with Hezbollah to be able to carry those out, and a lot of their bases of operations were already in Syria, so they lost all of that. Captagon, is that how you say? Yeah, Captagon, right? And when it came to their access to Latin America, their main and fentanyl, yeah, okay, and their main base of operations was Venezuela. Right, so they lost that as well. So they lost their main bridge to all of these operations. So honestly, I don't know, after losing those, like losing Syria and losing Venezuela, how much of those operations continue. My guess is that it has been severely hit. But I also know that given that a lot of these proxies cannot get direct money from the Islamic Republic as much as they used to, because of the Israelis being able to cut a lot of their connections with each other, these people might be more desperate to get into money making from drugs because they lost their financial, their ATM, that is the Islamic Republic. So that might motivate them to get into more of these activities. But I'm not familiar with the exact details. Unless Jeffrey, very short, like, if you do you know any information about this, if you could add up.
So you kind of touched on it very quickly. It's true that you touched on the elimination of the Assad and Alawite regime and a lot of the substate proxies there, as well as the violent Marxist Maduro regime that was very much the Western Hemisphere's center of gravity for elements of Hezbollah that use things like heroin and fentanyl and the rest of it, and probably cocaine too. So it's true that, I mean, we obliterated those two centers of gravity. Done. That being said, can they and are they trying to adapt? Sure. I mean, like, that's competitive adaptation. The simple fact is, though, they had one hell of a hit, especially now when you have three of the main centers of gravity taken out almost like that. Like, that's going to take them a minute to kind of get their footing under themselves after that ass whooping, if at all. Most of that is actually, like, they're trying to move towards Mexico, Armin, which is why we have guys hitting bad guys in Mexico.
Wow, under 1 minute. That was amazing. Thank you. That was very good information and very to the point. Thank you.
Okay, Kike Panya.